Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to all the witnesses here today for discussing this very important topic. Today's hearing highlights the information uncovered by this subcommittee's investigation into the fraudulent schemes operated by a number of organ procurement organizations that we've been referring to as OPOs. Reports from both this committee and the administration have begun to show that several OPOs have violated the trust of the American people and the law itself. Organ donation is one of the final selfless acts a person or family can commit for another person. However, several organizations have exploited this for personal gain and for financial gain. Let me be clear, Congress has a responsibility and a role to uncover the fraud, the waste, and the abuse here, and that's what today's hearing is about. We have a responsibility to expose wrongdoers. Ms. Martin, we thank you for your testimony and your courage to come forward and discuss the actions of your former employer. In your written testimony, you stated that following you coming forward as a whistleblower, the Health Resources and Services Administration, HRSA, launched an investigation. This was a key step in uncovering the fraud of the Kentucky Organ Donor Affiliates, also known as CODA. As a former OPO employee and one who blew the whistle on a bad actor in the industry, what is your advice to other folks in the industry who feel that they should speak out?
Thank you for your question. I just want to remind everybody that's working in an OPO right now, we are on the front lines. We are that patient's advocate. That's what we all sign up for, right? We have this great responsibility to the donor and their family and the amazing mission of organ donation and transplantation. So I would say to those whistleblowers, come forward. Don't be afraid. We are protected in ways, but at the end of the day, we're all here to save lives. We can't let this keep continuing to go on. Congress, please don't allow, whistleblowers to not be able to come forward. Make it safe for everyone. Make it safe for us so we don't lose our jobs, so we're not afraid.
Ms. Martin, I'll add that without brave whistleblowers like yourself and others that have come forward, it is hard for us to uncover the truth about what's going on the inside. You know as well as I do that only those that are on the inside day in and day out know all of the facts. And for you to come forward and give your story is very helpful for us to do our job here in Congress, so thank you. Following that investigation, HRSA uncovered 103 cases in which, quote, the organ donation process was initiated in error. You went on to say in your testimony that this was a systematic failure. That was the description you used that cannot be ignored. Ms. Martin, in light of your experience and the allegations against New Jersey Sharing Network, where should the committee focus its efforts on reform, and what kind of reform would you suggest?
So I think the biggest problem we have right now is not like who's in charge, but kind of looking at how we got here in the first place. So with OPOs running on kind of their own terms with no oversight, I think that it's important that, I'm sorry, can you repeat the last part of your question again?
Yeah, what kind of reforms would you suggest we undertake here as a committee to make sure that OPOs can no longer engage in this bad behavior, or that we can help with whistleblowers?
Thank you. So I think that we just all need to come together. You need to take into consideration the surgeons that are working, the people that are working at OPOs, hospital staff. Everybody kind of needs to sit down and kind of figure out where did we go wrong in the first place so that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I guess even more specifically, where's the pain point? Who needs to feel the pain of these investigations so that they change their behavior and no longer engage in this bad behavior? And I'll ask the same question to Ms. Erickson as well. So Ms. Erickson, I'll start with you.
I learned this from my military father. Leadership starts at the top. And the same organizations like Network for Hope, which Congressman Miller also operates in your state, cannot be allowed to abuse the public trust. They have to be immediately replaced. And I want to be clear about something. Many of the things that are being found by this committee constitute crimes. Medicare fraud is a crime. Lying to families about consent is a crime. So, Congressman, I really hope that this committee can work with HHS, State's Attorney General, and the Department of Justice to make sure that these executives feel the full force of the law.
Yeah, and how can we even go further to help protect the whistleblowers and to make sure that we are providing law enforcement the tools that they need to investigate the bad actors in the OPOs?
One thing I'd like to say about that is there is currently a federal contractor called the United Network for Organ Sharing, or UNOS, which has failed whistleblowers at every turn and ignored retaliation against them. It's even in investigative reporting that UNOS itself has retaliated against patient advocates. UNOS when your previous colleagues in the Energy and Commerce Committee held a hearing, UNOS threatened witnesses testifying under oath with legal action at the same time they were being paid by the taxpayer to investigate their claims. That has to end. We have to stop all bad contractors, including those we know are retaliating against whistleblowers now.
Mr. Chairman, we're talking about overseeing the ability to stop profits from taking preference over lives. And we need to make sure that we put life at the forefront and make sure that it is essentially what we are protecting instead of the profits of, or the money coming through and the operations of these OPOs. I respectfully return my time.